Well, hey, I didn't see you there. Come on, sit down. Just finishing up lunch. Getting ready to go for a hike in the woods. Would you like to come along with me? I'd like that. Last bite here. Get my pack on and we'll go. You can see we got a beautiful, beautiful day here. Believe it or not, we're at the winter solstice right now. The shortest daylight period of the year. It's 41 degrees when I left the truck and absolutely gorgeous. So this is going to be the beginning of our walk today. And this sign signifies that it's the starting point of the Chief Pontiac Trail. I don't know if you'll be able to read that. Stamped into the metal of this sign there, it says Checkpoint Chief Pontiac Trail, Clinton Valley Council, BSA. My goal today is to hike about a 2.5 mile stretch of the Chief Pontiac Trail. The Chief Pontiac Trail has been in existence since 1958. It's a hiking trail about 17 miles long. It runs from the trailhead we were just at in Highland Recreation Area, and the end of the trail is in Kensington Metro Park in Milford. Now, the Chief Pontiac Trail is used by all the local Boy Scout councils to come and earn, I don't know if they call them merit badges anymore, but they earn hiking credits here. And they do it in like a 2-day hike. So about midway through the hike, they'll stop at a campground and spend the night. And they have to navigate using maps and compasses. The adult scout leaders aren't supposed to help them in any way. So they're the ones responsible for staying on trail or getting lost. And then they camp overnight. And there's also a requirement, I believe, parts of the trail actually can be completed on the Huron River. So they can do it in canoes or kayaks. And also part of the requirement is that they hike and camp in the wintertime. So it's quite a strenuous requirement for the scouts to earn their merits. So what we're looking at here is the what's left of the Ford barn in Highland Recreation Area. It's probably 1/4 of the original structure remains. Quite a few years ago, a large part of it was destroyed by a tornado. And that's all that's left. Highland Recreation Area, a large part of it contains the Haven Hill estate of Edsel Ford. It was Edsel Ford's nerve retreat. It was the place he came to escape from the stresses and tensions of the auto industry in Detroit, working for his old man Henry and running the Ford Motor Company. And they purchased a large parcel of land here, built a retreat and a working farm. They dammed a lake. It's worthy of a whole nother video. Beyond the barn is a group camp site for youth groups. There's fire rings and campsites and picnic tables back there. Scouts and various youth organizations can reserve those sites. So I had to wait a little bit before I actually got underway. There was another gentleman about to start a hike too, and since I'm going to be making this video, number one, I'm a little bit self-conscious about walking through the woods and talking to myself, and number two, I don't want to disturb his hike. So he was going the other way anyway. So anyway, we're on our way. Start out by crossing the main park road here. It's gated off at this point for the winter. And we cross the road and come to a fairly new multi-purpose trail. You can see the signs there, area closed to horses. And a sign here directing horses off the trail in the direction we just came from. Highland Recreation Area has a very active equestrian club. They do a lot to maintain the horse trails here. They have big events here every year. There's a whole horseman's campground for when they have their events. And their trails run through the entire park. There's quite a trail system here. And some parts of the Chief Pontiac Trail are shared with those horse trails. In fact, a large part of it. So it can be quite confusing. And here's a trail right, here's another sign right here. Horses not allowed. They need to go up that way. But we're going to go this way. And it's just a few hundred yards up until we reach the next intersection. We've just cut off of the multi-use trail there, and we're coming across the park road. We just sort of did a loop around across and then back across the park road. This is more of the historic trace of the Chief Pontiac Trail here rather than what we were on before. I don't think that was the original. Show you what a beautiful day it is today. Alright, we've just completed a short section, a couple hundred yards there after we crossed the road. That's where we came from. And now we've come to another intersection or trail split here. See the sign right there that guides hikers in this direction. And this, I believe, is the horse trail here. And that hiker sign is the way we want to go. And it leads us into a parking lot. This is called the Circle Lot. And there used to be some flagpoles on the top of that hill, which was one of the landmarks for the Boy Scouts to navigate by. And in the distance there, you can see a toilet building, and that's our destination. Not the toilet building, but the trail that goes adjacent to it. Although, if you gotta stop, if you gotta use a toilet, let me know now, and I'll wait for you. But there's a toilet, and there's back there, oh, it's someplace right around in there is a trail sign, and that's our destination. See, we're not alone today. Lots of tracks. Here's another sign. Hikers. This is the hiking trail. These are the modern versions of the hiking sign. When we get a little farther back in here, we'll find some of the old style signs. from earlier times in the history of the Chief Pontiac Trail. We're headed now down into the woods. The rest of our hike is going to be through the woods. We've left the main public areas of the park and back into the woods, and we're approaching a lake or a marsh, and the next landmark on the Boy Scouts hike. And there's our landmark down there. But before we go down there, I want to just step off the trail for a minute. Do a little bushwhacking through the thicket here. Oh, that wasn't bad. I think this little pothole lake is pretty cool because it has an island right in the middle of it. Looks like the little cone of a volcano out there. Covered with oak trees, surrounded with cattails. In between all this marshy expanse. That just calls to me. I would love to go out there and stand on top of that little cone of gravel amidst those oak trees. Maybe deeper in the winter when this marsh is frozen solid, I can risk walking out there. Not today. So this is called the Waterfowl Bridge. It's a navigation landmark. Kind of hard to miss because it's right on the trail. It's a navigation landmark on the Boy Scout map and guide for the Chief Pontiac Trail. And the trail guide advises that the scouts pause here, adjust their packs. They've been walking about half a mile. Stand for a moment in silence. Let themselves acclimate to the woods. Listen for the birds, the waterfowl if they may be out there. Just leave the rest of the world behind. Today's December 21st, and the rest of the world is out there going crazy on the highways and the malls and the mall parking lots and the strip malls and the shopping centers. I'm glad I'm not part of that. I'm glad I'm here. In about 50 yards here, we'll be reaching the next trail intersection, less than 50 yards. This is one of the other hiking trails. You can see this hiking trail's as wide as a two-track. In fact, at one point in time, it may have been part of the Ford farm. Our trail goes ahead, straight across. And right away, we get confirmation with the little backpacker hiking sign there. Now, this stretch goes through some pretty rugged terrain. It's very hilly in here, very wooded. Sometimes, especially this time of year, the track of the trail is hard to follow with all the oak tree leaves that are on the ground. I love these wooded hills. So serene. One thing that was not obvious to me in the beginning, and it wasn't until I stopped and thought about it, that the light bulb went on in my mind. If you look back into the woods and you see the trees, you notice there's a lot of them there, but none of them are very big like you would expect to find in a mature climax forest. For the most part, I'd say these trees are in the neighborhood of 50 years old. So at one point in time, this land was all cleared. These hillsides were all bare. And actually, I discovered an aerial photograph taken in 1949 of this region, and you can look and you can see the hills and totally denuded of trees. Here and there you see an orchard, probably apple trees, and lots of fence rows. Can you see our trail? Very indistinct. This area of Highland Recreation Area has some of the highest elevations in Oakland County. I was hiking last weekend on the western end of the park, and there's some elevations over there, 1,145 feet, which is up there. That's pretty tall for Oakland County. Right now we're headed up gradually, but we're going up there. We're sort of at the summit right now. Here's one of the old school hiker dude signs. Like I said, pretty day in the woods. Still gaining elevation. Still got another, I don't know, 15 feet of elevation if we wanted to bushwhack up there to those two trees at the peak. Our trail's kind of in a little saddle here. The tall knob, a little lesser one over there, and we're going over the top in a little saddle here. But I remember from when I hiked here 2 weeks ago, we have a pretty particularly gnarly downhill into a ravine that's just a little ways up here. Here it is right here. We are going down there. Yeah, the big ones, at least you can see, the big ones and the medium-sized ones, at least you can see them sticking out. It's the little fist-sized ones that scare me. Here's some more gnarly stuff, stepping over these fallen trees. And you get down here into the shade of this ravine, and all the rocks underneath are covered with this slippery moss. So we're still going down, leveling out now. Up ahead is a very confusing trail intersection. Luckily I hiked this 2 weeks ago, like I said, so I know which way to go. Some minor obstacles here. And we come to first one intersection, T-boned. Hiking path that goes that way and that way, just a few yards. So I know we go this way to the left. And there's our hiker buddy. He's going one way, the arrow's going the other. Huh. Confusing. That's where we were. We just came down from there. We took a quick left here, and we come to this trail intersection with the little hiker dude who's confused. This is our 2-track that we've been running more or less parallel to, that we crossed way back about a third of a mile ago. This is the 2-track coming through here and continuing on this way, and this is definitely a remnant of the Ford estate. This was one of their access roads to their property, and in fact we are directly south of where Edsell's retreat was. We have this swampy area here at the base of this hill. That hill is Haven Hill, and up there is what remains of Edsell Ford's estate. He had a beautiful, beautiful log and stone, more than a cabin up there, lodge, and it was donated. They donated to the state of Michigan, and Highland Recreation Area kind of grew around it. Back in the 80s, probably 80s or 90s, the lodge was vandalized, arson, burnt to the ground, and all that remains up there are the foundations and a magnificent stonework chimney. There's quite a few other relics here back in the woods. In a second here, I'll point them out to you. One of them's kind of hard to see. The other one's kind of hard to miss, especially in the wintertime. Straight ahead, right at the end of my hiking pole there on the side of the hill, you may be able to make out a concrete structure. I'll see if I can zoom in. Right there, where the tip of that leaf stem is on the end of my pole. Right there. Is a pump work house, built into the side of the hill. And that pump supplied water, presumably to the estate above it, the lodge. And then over there was a swimming pool. That is actually like the poolside deck lounging area. And then down below, the swimming pool up there. And then right there where that you see that flattened out area, were tennis courts. Now beyond that, there's a hiking trail there. And beyond that, if you follow that hiking trail, you'll come to an area where there was like a water garden pond feature. Remnants of that still back in there. Like I say, that's worthy of another video on another day. We shall return. Surprisingly, the Chief Pontiac Trail guide and map doesn't mention anything about the Haven Hill estate. The trail doesn't really go through near the buildings or anything like that, so maybe that's why, but the trail we're walking on is definitely part of that estate, part of the workings of their property and their farm, you know, part of Detroit's automotive industrial history legacy. So it's kind of a shame it wasn't mentioned at all, but we can rectify that. There's another little pothole depression here filled with water, swampy. I think it connects to that marsh that we just came from below the estate there. Beautiful. But here's the thing here. This tree. This is the biggest tree I have seen back here in these woods. So you can see my hiking stick there. It's probably, I don't know, 48 inches long. There, out of the sun. There's my hiking stick. It's a monster. And you can see how deeply furrowed the bark is here. That's a good 2.5 inches right there. Every time out here I stop and marvel at this tree. Every time. And I still haven't figured out what kind of tree it is. For sure it was here when old Edsel was here, and probably 100 years before that. So for the rest of the way on this segment, we're going to be following this 2-track, and then we're going to turn to the left, south, and get on equestrian trail. So the Chief Pontiac hiking trail here is shared with equestrian users. This whole area to our right here, to the north of the trail, is a Haven Hill natural area. It's special use, hiking only. No horses are allowed in there that I'm aware of. See some other trail users approaching up ahead, walking with the dog. We continue straight ahead. This trail cuts off to the right here, and this goes into the Haven Hill natural area. Yeah. Closed to horses. Natural area. No picking or collecting. No bikes, no motorized vehicles, no horses, no camping. Stay on the trails. Here's an interesting thing. Trail marker M that way. Tunnel. What the heck? Let's go see what that's all about. Yeah, so this trail here, this leads straight out to Duck Lake Road in about, heck, 1/8 of a mile. I can hear the traffic now roaring away out there. Here's our little hiker buddy. He's got himself turned around and headed the right way now. So let's go see what this tunnel business is all about, eh? I don't know if you can hear that. Sounds like a busy road up ahead. To look both ways when we cross that road. And what do we have here? A tunnel. How cool is that? Tunnel under Duck Lake Road. But over here on our left is another one of the waypoints, landmarks that the scouts use. Another one of the historic Chief Pontiac trail markers. This is sign number 2 on the trail. Looks like a few years ago someone come along and painted the signs. Got a nice shiny brown paint on it. There probably used to be a plaque or something, a marker that attached there that's been stolen. This one's not shot full of holes, although it looks like it took a hit right there. And this one says Painted by the Sayers family, Troop 1032. This is usually quite muddy here. I know it's even worse on the other side. Good thing it's frozen right now. And of course, the requisite graffiti. I don't know. I think a horse and rider, the rider would still have to duck through here. I think the horse's ears might tickle the top of this tunnel. Question everything. Oh, that's an original thought. Into the light. Ah, yeah. Dismount, low headroom. All right. The hiker buddy and a horsey buddy. We're going to walk on for another quarter mile here or so. Covered about 2.5 miles once we get there. We're going to end up at the mountain bike trailhead, Highland Recreation Area mountain bike trails. All right, here's the terminus of our hike today. Livingston Road mountain bike trailhead. See, there's quite a few cars. Lots of people out on the bike trails today. It's a good day for it, that's for sure. And over here in the distance is landmark trail marker number 3 for the Chief Pontiac Trail. Look both ways. It's a mountain bike trail. See their tracks headed off into the sunshine there. This is trail marker number 3 for the Chief Pontiac Trail. So, the mountain bike trails go that way, the hiking and equestrian trails go this way. Another one of the landmarks for the scouts was, they call them latrines. It's actually a pit toilet outhouse. Used to sit right here. All that's left is the concrete foundation. Trail continues on this way to the west and then south, general bearing southwest. I'm gonna walk down the bike trail here a little ways to keep looking and listening over my shoulder that I don't get run over. I saw something cool last time I was back here, so I'll share that with you guys, and then I'm gonna wrap up this hiking video. Here we go. So this is the beginning, actually, and the end. The beginning, the end of the A loop. There's 4 loops back here. You can read this nasty old sign. This is what I wanted to show you. Somebody decorated the tree here with Christmas ornaments. I think that's pretty cool. I'm a mountain biker. I shouldn't say that. I haven't ridden in so long. It's not funny, but I used to ride Highland, and it's a challenging trail. A lot of ups and downs, twisty, turny. There's very few straight sections where you can maintain any speed. You're either going up or down, and it's always rooty, rocky, gravelly, washed out. It's a tough ride. When you've ridden this, you've accomplished something. Yeah, this is an explanation of the 4 loops that are back here. Yep, high point of loop B, elevation 1,140 feet. All right, that's gonna do it for me. You can see the afternoon light here at the winter solstice, the low sun. It's starting to turn more reddish in nature. It really brings out the colors in the oak leaves on the forest floor. I don't know what time it is. I lose track of time on the trails, so I have no idea what time it is. But I imagine we've no more than 2 hours of light left. Look at that. The winter color palette of the forest is my favorite palette. Brown and russet colors of the fallen leaves, the grays of the tree trunks, the blue of the sky. Green and blue of summer are nice, but I like this. I like it a lot. Bye everyone, till next time. Thanks for walking along with me, putting up with my blather. Peace. And I almost forgot, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.